How many of you have heard about kencing tikus?
Oh yes.
Yes.
Tikus kencing all the time.
Penyakit kencing tikus. Penyakit kencing tikus is what we refer to in the proper terms as leptospirosis. Okay, if you look at the name itself has the name of the dangerous bacteria, and the name of the dangerous bacteria is leptospirosis.
Oh, it's bacteria, not virus, eh?
It's not a virus, it's a bacteria. And there are many types of the species. The dangerous species is known as leptospirosis interrogans. This is the particular species that causes all of this trouble.
Leptospirosis, right there. Leptospirosis. Enter what?
Interrogans.
Interrogans.
Alright, so can anyone tell me what is the latest hot issue that has been going on with relation to this topic in our country? Yes. Rabies.
Rabies.
Yes, that's a very good answer. Currently, we have an increasing number of cases
An outbreak
of rabies reported. Okay, rabies.
Put down the pen. Oh, unless you want to continue using the pen.
Rabies, in contrast to kencing tikus or leptospirosis, is a virus. This, on the other hand, is a bacteria. A bacteria that I would say that is so sleek, it can stay dormant in water and soil for a very extended period.
Wow.
Which means the soil that has been infected, let's say the tikus walks over it, the rat, or whichever animal that is the carrier, walks over the soil and it urinates there, it excretes all the bacteria through the urine, and it can stay at the soil for a very long time.
How long?
The particular period of how long it can stay dormant is not identified because it can depend on the type of water as well as the type of soil. But at least for a few months, it can definitely stay there. Alright. What another thing that you should all be aware
of. Put down the marker.
Another thing that I would like to highlight is that this particular disease is not just spread by rats. It's also spread by other mammals such as cattle, pigs, even dogs and other mammals.
Cats?
But cats as well.
Human?
No. Human.
But we are mammal.
Certain types of human.
Certain types of human?
Certain types of mammal.
Oh, mammal lah.
Sorry. Okay, I will explain why it's not possible for all the animals to become the carrier. What happens is that our Mr. Rat or Miss Rat are very good at carrying the virus without any effect to themselves. That means they are known to be the most effective carrier, which is not a good thing. Because when it's in the other types of mammals, like I said, cattle and also pig, it is known for that bacteria to affect them somehow, even if they do not.
Even if they don't
display any clinical symptoms, they usually become infertile. So somehow this bacteria will affect them. But for rats, they can stay as vectors without being affected. Without being affected. Another hot news for you. 90% of the rats in our country are carriers of leptospirosis.
Alamak.
Isn't that alarming? Yes. That is indeed alarming. But you may ask me, how come if there's 90% of carriers, there's not many cases reported? This is why I would say leptospirosis in our country, the whole issue, we are only looking at the tip of the iceberg.
Underreporting.
Yes. We are not looking at the whole chunk of ice that is hidden underneath the water. Like the Titanic ship that sunk because it assumed the iceberg was tiny. We are all assuming that this issue is not serious. But in reality, it is very serious.
It is very serious.
It is a very serious issue. There are many cases of underreporting and negligence in reporting of these cases, leptospirosis. Alright? Okay, let's look at how the disease affects us human beings when we are exposed to the urine of the affected animal, because the bacteria is excreted in the urine. When we come into contact with places or soil or water droplets, large water droplets, that is why it is only possible when you go for a dip in the waterfall or areas that are flooded, right? It's not possible for you to just brush over like that and contract it. It is not via skin, it's usually through
ingestion.
Urine. Yes, urine and ingestion.
Ingestion.
Alright, okay. Like I said earlier, 90% of it is 90% of the rat are carriers.
Wait. It must be ingested to contract this disease.
No.
By touch alone wouldn't, right?
No. It has to be an open wound or ingestion.
Open wound.
Open wound.
Okay.
Open wound or ingestion. Alright? Okay. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. Even though 90% of the rats are carriers, there's another, there's a brighter side of the story, which is 90% of the disease are of the milder form, which is why most of it goes underreported. This leptospirosis is known with its famous nickname being the Great Mimicker. I will explain to you why. Like I said, 90% is the icteric form, which is the milder form of leptospirosis. And we have the remainder 10% of the anicteric form, which is the more serious, severe manifestation of the disease. Alright, this 90% of the milder cases, how does it act when it affects human beings? It acts like any other viral infection or dengue, right? So when a person is infected by leptospirosis, the first concern would be is if they have infected with any strain of influenza, and then they screen for dengue and all these endemic diseases that is more popular in our country.
H1N2.
Yes, all of these influenza viruses. We are under the notion, thinking that we have developed, and that leptospirosis is not prevalent anymore in our country. But this is far from the truth, because like I said, since 90% of the rats are carriers, we could have easily been infected by the disease and recovered from it without even knowing for it, right? Because like I said, 90% is the milder form, and being a great mimicker, its symptoms can sometimes be so close to malaria and dengue. Let me tell you, for dengue, what is the key factor that they look for in your blood test reports?
Platelet.
Platelet
Count, yeah.
Yes, blood count, platelet. Yes, that is precisely what we look for as the key factor. So once they see your platelet, which is the clotting agent in the blood, going down, they will test for dengue. Have you heard of many cases where the platelet count goes down, but the patient is given, the patient's serum gives negative for dengue?
I've never heard of this, don't know.
There has been an increasing number of so-called viral infections with decreasing platelet counts, which gives negative results for dengue. These are classic leptospirosis clinical manifestations, because they also have thrombocytopenic features, which is the decrease in the platelet level. Alright, so now that you have known how the milder form looks like, let's look at the most severe form. This severe form can be very, very fatal, and there's a lot of things to pay
There's a lot of things
to pay attention to. Even though I said that this particular leptospirosis interrogans is the severe strain, the one that causes diseases in humans, I would like to highlight to you there are over 200 serovars available throughout the world, in all across the continents, that are known and identified. In Malaysia itself, we expect us to be exposed to over 40 to 50 serovars. But currently in Malaysia, we have only identified 20. Right? So do you see the conflict in this leptospirosis? There was recently a case, if I'm not mistaken, reported in Kajang, where the patient sample had to be sent to Australia, and it took a very long time for them to identify which serovar it is, because there are many serovars that are being identified as time progresses. And us being in Malaysia, I hope you know what is the difference of being endemic and non-endemic. So endemic is where the disease is prone, like reported in high number of cases. Non-endemic is where the disease is foreign. It happens in only isolated individuals. We are not just endemic.
We are not just
endemic from leptospirosis. We are known to be hyper-endemic.
Wow.
Yes, we are known to be hyper-endemic.